There's an old saying, when we're young, we do everything to make others happy. But as we grow older, we realize that the wisest among us often do the opposite. Today, I want to welcome you to a discussion about 9 important things that smart men should never do in their relationships with women. The truths we'll explore are not just about navigating love, they're about preserving your identity, strength, and dignity as a man. They come from ancient wisdom, practical experience, and hard-learned lessons that many of us have faced. Marcus Aurelius, one of Rome's greatest emperors, famously said that men's greatest mistakes are not about doing the wrong things but about attempting things they shouldn't do at all. Ironically, the smarter you are, the more likely you are to make these mistakes. Why? Because intelligence often breeds overthinking, overanalysis, and a tendency to overextend in ways that ultimately backfire. In this expanded discussion, we'll draw on Stoic philosophy and real-world experiences to uncover these pitfalls and, more importantly, how to avoid them. I'm certain that many of you will see your own lives reflected in the scenarios we're about to discuss. Before we dive in, I encourage you to leave a comment if you've ever found yourself in these situations. Your story might just help another man avoid making the same mistakes. 1. Guard your past. Let's start with something foundational: protecting your past. Nietzsche once remarked that old thoughts return to us like ghosts of past decisions. Nowhere is this more evident than in relationships. Smart men often believe that complete openness about their past shows emotional maturity and honesty. They share their deepest failures, traumas, and regrets, thinking it will foster a stronger bond. It's a noble intention, but here's the truth: what you share in a moment of intimacy can later become ammunition in moments of conflict. Imagine this: you open up about a financial mistake, a failed relationship, or a moment of weakness from years ago. Later, during an argument, these vulnerabilities are thrown back at you. This isn't just speculation, I've seen it happen countless times. The Stoics teach us that not every truth needs to be spoken and not every secret needs to be shared. Think of your past as a treasure chest. You don't leave it open for everyone to peer into. Instead, you share it sparingly and only with those who've demonstrated their trustworthiness over time. Practical advice. Share your history gradually. Frame your past as a learning experience, not a source of ongoing pain or weakness. Only disclose what strengthens your current relationship rather than complicates it. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Protecting your past isn't about hiding, it's about preserving your dignity and safeguarding your peace of mind. 2. Face the fear of being alone. Here's a truth many men won't admit: the fear of being alone drives them to stay in relationships that no longer serve them. Aristotle said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, but knowing yourself requires time alone," a prospect many find intimidating. Consider this: how often have you seen someone stay in a toxic relationship simply because the thought of solitude seemed worse? It's like sitting in a burning building because you're afraid of the cold outside. The Stoics understood that fear of emptiness can cause more harm than emptiness itself. I've seen successful businessmen, leaders, and visionaries, men who could handle immense professional pressures, succumb to the fear of a quiet Friday night alone. They tolerated disrespect, emotional neglect, and even abuse simply to avoid the discomfort of solitude. The hard truth: when you fear being alone, you hand over your power to anyone willing to keep you company. You can't make rational decisions about love when you're running from loneliness. Practical steps to overcome this fear. Dedicate time to hobbies or interests you can pursue independently. Spend a day or 2 each week intentionally alone, go for a hike, watch a movie, or journal. Reflect on what truly fulfills you. This will help you distinguish between staying in a relationship out of love versus fear. Here's the paradox: when you embrace solitude, you'll naturally attract people who enrich your life rather than those who simply fill a void. 3. Stay true to your path. When you sacrifice your path for someone else's, you don't just lose your goals, you lose your essence. I've seen this happen to countless men. They meet someone they love deeply and begin to prioritize that person's dreams over their own. At first, it seems noble. But years later, they wake up filled with regret, wondering where their ambitions went. They see a version of themselves in the mirror that's unfamiliar, a shadow of the driven person they once were. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you look." Abandoning your dreams doesn't just cost you opportunities, it costs you self-respect and, eventually, the respect of your partner. Here's the reality: no one admires someone who abandons their ambitions for love. Sacrifices might be appreciated initially, but over time, they erode the very foundation of what made you attractive in the first place. The solution: stay committed to your dreams. Pursue them with passion and allow your partner to join you on the journey if they wish, but never abandon your path entirely. A strong partnership enhances both people's lives. The right person will celebrate your ambitions, not see them as competition. True love doesn't require you to give up your dreams. It inspires you to chase them harder. 4. Maintain your support system. One of the biggest mistakes men make is sacrificing their support system, friends and family, for their romantic relationship. Plato wisely said, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself." Yet many men lose this battle when they distance themselves from the very people who've always supported them. I've seen men miss family events, cancel long-standing traditions, and drift from their closest friends in an effort to prioritize their partner. While their intentions may be good, the outcome is often tragic. By the time they realize their mistake, their friendships have faded, family ties have weakened, and if the romantic relationship ends, they find themselves utterly alone. The strongest relationships are built on mutual independence. A partner who encourages you to maintain your friendships and family bonds is showing maturity and security. Actionable steps. Make regular time for friends and family, even when in a committed relationship. Communicate to your partner that these relationships are important to you. Look for a partner who respects and values your support network rather than tries to isolate you from it. Your support system is your safety net. Don't wait until you're falling to realize its value. 5. Avoid dependency. Finally, one of the most critical principles: avoid excessive dependency. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Yet, many men fall into the trap of basing their happiness entirely on their partner's approval or attention. They become overly dependent, constantly seeking validation and reassurance. Their mood swings with a text message, and their self-worth hinges on their partner's behavior. This dependency is not only unhealthy, it's unattractive. Nobody wants to be someone's entire world. It's too much responsibility and creates a dynamic of imbalance. The solution: build a life filled with passions, interests, and goals that are independent of your relationship. Practice emotional self-regulation. Learn to find peace and happiness within yourself rather than seeking it externally. Maintain personal boundaries and individuality within the relationship. Remember, the strongest relationships are built between two whole, independent individuals, not one person seeking completion in the other. Conclusion: stay true to yourself. The 9 principles we've explored today aren't just about maintaining a strong relationship, they're about cultivating your strength, dignity, and authenticity as a man. As Marcus Aurelius said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. By following these principles, you're not just setting the foundation for healthier relationships, you're building a life rooted in respect, wisdom, and strength. If this discussion resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Leave a comment below about which principle struck a chord with you. Your experience might be the wisdom someone else needs today. Stay strong. Stay wise. And most importantly, stay true to yourself.